Hi, it's Mark. Your 20s are a really exciting part of your life. You might have a bit more money in the old pocket and certainly a lot more freedom. Most people in their 20s think they're invincible. I know I certainly did. I think I was a bit, to be honest. But actually, the truth is, in your 20s, you're more vulnerable than ever. If someone makes a financial mistake at this point in their life, it will send shockwaves through their entire future. Each of these mistakes is very different, so it's really important that you watch this video until the end. Otherwise, you could fall victim to one of them. So smash that like button. All right, done that? Let's jump straight in. Number one is not taking advantage of your free time. Now, in your early 20s, you are incredibly rich in one way. You've got bundles and bundles of time. You can do so many things to turn your spare time into cash. And if all you're doing is wasting your time, then all that potential income is just slipping through your fingers. This is also the ideal time to invest in yourself and build your skills. I used to use my spare time in my 20s sketching model planes, and this has led me to having them manufactured and selling them all around the world. In fact, one of my biggest designs is the biggest selling RC aircraft in the UK. The original design for this was sketched in a classroom while I was being bored by the geography teacher. I remember him well, Mr. Woolard. So developing those skills from an early age has served me very well. Number two, trying to keep up with your friends. Everyone has that one friend that always seems to have the nicer car, the nicer house, and sometimes the hotter partner. Let me tell you a secret, all right? The majority of people are faking it anyway. As of 2020, the average American household had a credit card debt of over $5,700. This is astonishing, as it means the friends you're actually trying to keep up with are probably more in debt than you are. Having access to so much easy credit allows people to rewrite reality. At the end of the day, friends that need impressing are not true friends. Real friends are the people that love you no matter what. They stick by you through your troubles and are there for you when you need them. They are the people who couldn't care less what you spend your money on. Number three, over drinking and partying. When you're out drinking, it's easy to get caught up in the moment and spend a lot more money than you usually would. Now, this is most people's kryptonite. It's one of the things that keeps many people broke and, of course, unable then to invest. I'm not saying that going out and enjoying yourself is wrong, as you have to do what makes you happy. The key takeaway from this is everything is great, but in moderation. You may think that saving a few dollars here and there won't make a difference, but your dollar is worth so much more when you're younger. By investing it instead of spending it on something you really didn't want anyway, it's going to be worth dramatically more in 20 years' time. Number four is putting off retirement investing. When you're in your 20s, retirement seems like a lifetime away. Many people put off investing in their retirement until they're about 45 or 50 years of age because of many excuses. They've got a mortgage to pay, they've got a college fund to save for, and of course there's holidays. These lost years can cost you very dear. So let me explain. If you invested $100 a month for 30 years at 7% annual return, you would have $116,945 set aside in your retirement fund. And this can continue to grow until the point you decide to retire. But if you put off investing in your retirement, let's say 10 years, and you start investing the same amount for a 20-year period, wait for it, you're only going to have $50,000 in your retirement fund. Yes, it can grow, but you're starting from such a low base, just $50K. $50,000 is a huge amount of money just to lose. And the reality is that $50,000 would have only cost you $12,000. So lots of free money. I was very lucky. My mentor advised me to save and invest in a pension from the age of 18. I've always been told that you should put at least, not a minimum of at least 10% of everything you earn, and it's given me the ability to use that money in lots of different investment opportunities, such as business, real estate, and also stocks and shares. Even Einstein said, compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. Number five is not having a backup fund. Now, over 60% of millennials wouldn't be able to cover a $1,000 emergency. That's 60% wouldn't have enough money for a minor emergency. Now, I know I bang on about this, and I do bang on about it a lot of the time, about having a backup fund, but that's because it's super important. I learned it the hard way. When I was 19, I purchased a car that I needed a loan to buy. The engine in it lasted me about a month before it blew up, and it left me with a huge debt after putting a new engine in the car. Because I purchased a car really I couldn't afford, this led me into a cycle of debt that was hard to break free of. I made the decision to get clear of debt, and I worked my arse off for a year with many different side hustles. I never wanted to be into that situation ever again. Number 6 is moving out of home too soon. By slightly abusing your parents' generosity, this is going to be the smartest move that you're ever going to make. It's also the best value accommodation you're ever going to get, and don't take it for granted. Now, when I was in my 20s, my number one goal was to move out of home into my own place. I just wanted to have the freedom without my parents being around. I fell in love with this beautiful apartment. Well, to be honest, it wasn't exactly beautiful, but it was perfect for me. As I walked in, it hit me that this could be mine. I started to imagine my big red couch in the front room, my desk, house parties, and ultimately how impressed my friends were going to be. Before I knew it, my emotions had got the better of me. I'd signed up for a mortgage and I'd moved out. You know what? I wasn't ready. I didn't have enough savings, and my apartment ended up losing a lot of money over the next couple of months. It all worked out in the end, of course, but it certainly wasn't the best move for me at the time. Everyone focuses on the mortgage payments. They are big, of course they're big, but you've got to look at all the other living expenses. Now at 20, just my food bill was huge. I am 6'4", so I did eat a bit. Ground rent, maintenance, car bills, travel expenses, the list goes on and on. So do the math and stay at home for as long as you can and invest your money. Number 7 is going into debt to buy a sweet ride. When you're earning, it is so tempting to upgrade your car and impress all your friends, all your family with your success. We're constantly being bombarded with YouTube videos about 19-year-olds buying Teslas, Audis, Lamborghinis, and trust me, this isn't smart. Nowadays, when you go and buy a new car, they don't ask you what car you're interested in, they ask you how much you can afford to spend per month. They're not interested in the car you want. They're selling finance. They want to sell you as much finance as possible over as long a period as possible to make them the most amount of money as possible. Most cars have a very sharp depreciation curve, meaning they lose their value extremely quickly. And before you know it, your car is worth half what you paid for it, even if you bought it in full. Be honest with yourself, stand back and take a look at the car. Balance the cost. It will actually cost you with the interest from the finance taken into account. Then take a look at what the car is selling for on the forecourt a year old. It's shocking just how much you're going to lose. The only thing you can gain by buying a new car is you can go, look at me with my new car. Look at me with my huge debt, is what you should be saying. The key is to buy a second-hand car, pre-owned car, at the bottom of its depreciation. With a little research, you'll be able to pick up a cool second-hand car and drive it around for a couple of years and probably sell it for the same as what you paid for it, or maybe slightly less, effectively making the car almost free, with the only running cost being fuel and a bit of insurance. You're able to get all the upsides of owning a nice car without the huge loss of money. Number 8 is expensive relationships and dating. Relationships in your 20s get very serious. Believe me, it's very tempting to want to splash the cash, expensive dates and restaurants to get the person you want to love you. Now, it's really lovely to treat someone you love to something special every now and again. But if you start that relationship waving that old money around, it's often going to attract the wrong people. You want someone to like you for who you are, your passions, your interests, and not the size of your wallet. Many people in their 20s want to get married, but again, the truth is you can't afford to get married in your 20s. It took me around about 16 years from when I first met my true love to actually physically getting married. And the reason is because we had a set idea of what we wanted the day to be. And obviously, if we'd have cut corners on that day, that memory would never have been what it is. And I can still remember that day today, and people still comment on what a great day they had. So it's worth doing it later because you've got more money to use to make that day great. The big takeout from this is live within your means and invest in your future. So I'm going to leave some videos there, but don't click on them just yet. If you want to learn more about growing your wealth while you're young, then make sure to subscribe to the channel and ring that old bell to keep up to date. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.